I know the answer to this, and I know the story, but maybe a lot of these people don't. But what inspired you to pick up the mandolin and play bluegrass?
Well, what inspired me to pick up the mandolin and play bluegrass? Well, the mandolin is what led me to bluegrass in that when I was, grew up in a household where music was encouraged. My mom and dad were farmers, but country music fans. So my mom played the guitar like Mother Maybelle Carter style. My dad played the fiddle and some mandolin. So there was a mandolin and fiddle in the house. And my dad liked to listen to these fiddle albums by the great Grand Ole Opry fiddler named Tommy Jackson. And so Tommy made these fiddle albums, and the mandolin would be playing along with the fiddle in unison. I really liked that sound. And I didn't know who played the mandolin on those records till later. I was, now playing some Nashville sessions, and there was a rhythm guitar player on there named Ray Edenton. And Ray played on thousands of country music songs. He was the first hire rhythm guitarist, and he said, "Oh, I get hired a lot more than the lead guitar players. You need a rhythm." And so anyway, Ray, I said, "Who did play the mandolin on those Tommy Jackson records?" And he said, "That was Hank Garland." And Hank Garland, I only knew of as a great. He was known as like a country jazz guitarist and a wonderful one. I said, "I didn't know Hank played the mandolin." He said, "Well, he didn't, but he was such a good musician that Tommy wanted the mandolin on there, so Tommy would teach him the song on the mandolin right before we cut it, and then we'd play it, and he probably never played it again." I said, "Wow." So that's my style. I grew up copying a person that didn't really play the mandolin. But anyhow, the love of the mandolin and growing up, as I was saying, around Nashville TV, I did get to see Bill Monroe on TV and Jesse McReynolds and Bobby Osborne. And so I did have the advantage of seeing these great mandolin players, and that's what led me to bluegrass in that that's where the mandolin players were. There were only a couple that I could think of that didn't play bluegrass, which were Jethro Burns and Ira Louvin and Oscar Sullivan of Lonzo and Oscar. So the mandolin was almost like an instrument that the people who sang funny songs would play, right? But Bill Monroe was certainly not a comedian on stage, and so getting to see Monroe on stage it was day and age before there were teaching videos as we have now. So I had the advantage of watching their fingers work and see how that works and how do you make that chord, and oh wow. So it was really it was the love of the mandolin that led me to bluegrass. So in watching TV, but I still hadn't really started playing mandolin yet when I was watching the Flat and Scruggs show one day, and this little fella comes on about this high with blonde hair and a little Gibson mandolin, and Lester Flatt is emceeing, and all of a sudden you see a little hand tug at his sleeve.
What do you want, son?
I want a pick.
You want a pick?
Yeah.
Early. He's drawing back here with his mandolin and says he wants to pick.
Put him on.
Put him on? Take him right over
Lester
there.
looked down and said, "What do you want, boy?" And the little boy said, "I want a pick." And his name was Ricky Skaggs. So it was Ricky. And around Bowling Green, they would have these Saturday afternoon jam sessions at the courthouse in the 60s. So in the actual courtroom would be a jam session each Saturday afternoon. And I'd already seen the Skaggs family in there once with my dad. So I'd seen this kid, Ricky. And maybe it was by him being on Flat and Scruggs, that was also a spur on. But I'd already seen this kid, another blonde-headed kid, and he's a couple of years younger than me, so he started, before I did. But I was inspired by this kid on the mandolin that I wanted to do that too. Maybe I could do that too. So really part of it was seeing Rick playing on TV and with his family, the Skaggs family.